Hello, fellow classmates. My name is Jamil Bostic. Excuse my voice because I'm a little sick, so if things come off a little raspy, you'll have to excuse me. But we're not going to spend too much time on that because that's not what I came here for. I came to tell you about how I grew up in an abusive environment, and today I'm overcoming my traumas and conquering them and achieving my goals. When I was younger, if you would have told me that I'd graduate high school, that I'd be in college and I'd be the first in my family to go to college, that I'd be achieving my goals and thriving the way I am today, I would not have believed you. But I know there's somebody out there that probably can relate to this story. And I know there's probably someone out there that's going through something similar or has been through something similar, and they're still figuring out how can they work through their traumas, and they're still trying to figure out how to level up. And I'm hoping they'll see me standing here in front of you today in one piece and happy and telling my story. And I hope it'll push you to keep striving, because you're a conqueror and your traumas do not make you. They are not who you are. You're much stronger. Let's get straight into it. Growing up, I was raised by my grandmother. My mother and my father, they were never really in the picture. My father spent half of my life in prison, and my mother was just never there. I cannot tell you why. I don't know where she was. She was just never in my life. So I was raised by my grandmother ultimately. Now, when most people think of their grandmothers, you think love and hugs and kisses. Not for me, because my grandmother was my abuser. So we never had a good relationship. Growing up, my grandmother physically, mentally, and verbally abused me day in and day out of my life until I got away. And that affected me academically. That affected my mental health. It just drove me into a downward spiral. Growing up, my grandma would use cruel and unusual punishment on me. So whenever she would be angry with me, she would make me clean from sunup to sundown. Mind you, she was angry with me every other day. So when I'm coming home from school at 4 o'clock, I'm cleaning from that time until about 4 or 5 the next morning. I know most people think that is exaggerating, but no, sweetheart, I'm not exaggerating. I was in an apron with a broom and I was going to work. And whenever I finished cleaning whatever, she made me do whatever again if she felt it wasn't to her likings. When I got older, it just got worse. The older I got, the worse my grandmother treated me. And it got to a point where mentally I just wanted out. I couldn't take it anymore. So I did try and take my life. I tried to commit suicide. Mentally today I'm stronger than I was back then, so I'd never do that now. But at the time, my grandmother, even knowingly that I did that, never tried to get me help. And it just made things worse for me. But the older I got, the less I was worth to my grandmother because I was a foster child. Though she was my grandmother, she was being compensated for me. But the older you get, the less money they get for the children. So my grandmother dumped me back into the system. When you're uprooted from your family, for most children, this is a traumatic experience. And it may have been traumatic for me. I'm not really sure to this day. But at that time, I was ecstatic. And at that time, I got the proper parenting I needed. Once I got to my new foster mom, things started making such a positive turnaround for me. I'm talking academically. She pushed me academically, she pushed me in work, she pushed me in whatever I wanted to do, and she pushed me to be the best. She was nurturing. She was the mother figure that I needed. She gave me the love that I needed. Once I got to her, my grades made a complete turnaround. I started taking double classes, and I graduated, and I'm the first in my family to graduate. I'm also the first in my family to go to college. In conclusion, your traumas do not make you. Your traumas do not define who you are. You are so much stronger. And I'm here in front of you today to tell you that and be living proof. So if you're out there and you are listening to me, just know that you and I were conquerors and you're so much stronger than you think you are. Thank you for listening to me.